And Coach, in spite of all the noise, your recruiting class was epic. I mean, you've been on some major programs and seen that. How would you describe what you were able to get? And I know you've seen most of them by now.
I think as much as we crack about social media and the communication between kids today, that's how it came. I mean, other kids want to play with other great players because they know in this sport, you got to win it all. You got to have players across the board, and I think they've seen it from the teams that are winning, the recruiting classes and how guys and they got together and we recruit them and they got intermingling and camps, different things, not just with us, but at inter functions. Because kids today, they know so much about each other before we even get them, and they talk so much. They wanted to play together, and it snowballed together, and those guys all wanted to get together. And then you got to remember, we were coming off success of a 9-1 season. A lot of those guys were at the Alabama game. They were at that run of games. And I'm going to tell you this. You can say it all you want. The atmosphere in Kyle Field is as good as anywhere in college football. I mean, and they're there. They're winning. They want it, and people want to be a part of sometimes doing something, being the first, not just being another one who does it somewhere. You know what I mean? Being the first to do it. And I think that's what they went together and did.
I wonder, in terms of the perception of what happened last year, if people are really focusing in on the wrong thing, because the record is self-evident, but anyone who was there that night, anyone who watched it, and it was a record television audience, you can't replicate a night like that anywhere.
And we had the success the year before. Yeah. And you got to remember, our staff has had success. I've won a national championship. But there's only 5 of us that have.
Yeah.
And so success, and we've had success at places, and we're building something. And listen, but when you get to A&M, and I say this, that Aggie Network, the foundation, the people, the education, it is a school that people do. I didn't understand it till I went there.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, we're doing $160 million worth of renovations right now. We got a donation yesterday, the largest one in athletics history, $25 million. Before that, it was $15 million. There was another 15.
Now, this is for facilities, not players,
this is for facilities.
Right?
This is facilities we're building. We're building new. We're adding different things. They're putting new skyboxes up because the demand is there. Right. It's a place where they want to be the best, and they're putting things in place for us to do that. So, I mean, and those kids see that.
Yeah, and I say this to the audience because I don't. If you haven't spent time there, you don't. This is hard to understand in just pure language.
It is. And now we're trying to get the culture, and it takes time to do things right, and they're committed to doing that. That's why we just signed another 10-year contract. We're on it, and then we just signed another 10-year contract. And Kirby just got one today. I told all these guys, I get 2%. I was the first one that did it. They owe me 2%.
Really?
It should be. After our first 10-year contract, shouldn't they owe me 2%?
Well, yeah, I mean, his was...
yeah, but shouldn't he owe me 2% of that? All them 10-year contract guys should have to pay me 2%.
You know, you're talking to poor media guys now. Don't.
Wait a minute now, Paul. Wait a minute now, Paul. Those contracts Paul gets now. Let him sandbag. I guess on the golf course you play it down too, huh?
I'm a 32.
Yeah.
I just keep forgetting to post my score.
But it's a wonderful time.
But I mean, everybody. I think Kirby's is over 100 million.
Yeah.
Yours.
He's done a great job. I mean, and he deserves it.
But I wonder about that, and I think people misunderstand. Instead of resenting it, I think that does that not add to the aura of what you guys do, though?
It does, and I think what you understand is to win and lose, it takes time to build things the right way. Yeah. It takes time to do it. I mean, Kirby, they fought it, and then finally got over that hump. To go win them and do it is time, and when you change consistently, whatever comes out of that, nothing. I mean, you got to have time to do things, and I think that's one. And I think players want to go somewhere. Is they're stable? Is the coaches going to be there? Are they going to be there? Because now the transfer portal, they can just get up and leave.
Yeah. We're talking to Coach Fisher. I mentioned the media earlier, and I realize you do want to move on, but I wonder, though, because, you were already big. The national championship put you on there. Everyone watched what happened with LSU last year, and it wasn't reported other than every day that they wanted you, and you addressed that. But ultimately, you are now one of the faces of college football. You were successful at Florida State, but you were still fighting Clemson and trying to claw your way through. How does that affect you when you're out and you're recruiting? Because there's a story behind you.
It only helps, and it's big, and kids can identify with you and do the things you got to do. But you're only as good as yesterday. You have to in this business. That's the thing this business reminds you each and every day. You have to be on top of your game every day. But it's about relationships with the people, with the media, and all the things that go. And we as football coaches for our universities are the front porch. Yeah. We're that front porch for them that sells it out there, and hopefully we're selling a good message in what we do. Because A&M is and once people come and see it, it's unbelievable. But we embrace it, and that's part of it. But that's where you want to get to. That's the part of the game. And if you have success, you want to be able to do that.
you have this innate energy that you've always had, and I'm not trying to age you, but it seems like I've been covering you a very long time, because that doesn't say much about my age. But I mean, how do you manage your time when there's never been more demands? I mean, you
no,
can't
there isn't. It's harder right now than it's ever been because of the recruiting and the social media, and you're recruiting 3 classes at once. I can remember when I first started coaching, you went out in the spring to see who you were recruiting in the fall that were seniors.
Yeah.
Now we're recruiting sophomores, freshmen, juniors, the whole thing. But I've been blessed, Paul, and saying this: I've never had a job. I really believe that. I mean, I'm one of the few people that are fortunate enough to do what I love to do, and I love everything about whether you're coaching. I love the competition. Don't get me wrong. I love to compete. I mean, you keep them score. I just love it. I always have since my dad raised me that way. He never let me win at anything. When I was 2, 3, 4, if you won it, you earned it. You know what I mean? But I love people. I've learned, and in sports, the relationships, watching develop people, and I love boosters. I do love media. I love meeting people and talking to people and interacting, and you learn every time you're around it. But I love everything about this game, and I'm very blessed to have it. So every day I get up, when you think it's work, I remember working on the farm when I was a kid, 18 hours a day, and that was work. And my father was a coal miner and a farmer. There was no harder work when he got blown up in the coal mines and he went back in it. I mean, I understand that. He didn't get to do everything he loved to do. I'm one of the few blessed people in this world that are doing what they love to do. And if you can't have energy, and every time you touch a kid, that's his future. Understand something? Every time you touch a kid or you're around someone, that's his future. You better, and if that was your kid, how would you want him treated? And you better have the energy or the discipline or whatever it is to do it. And I truly feel blessed to do what I'm doing.
I mean,
thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.